Well, hello there, fellow geeks and geekettes, and welcome to yet another episode of my video series focusing on artists, in which I focus on artists. And I look in each and every episode of this video on that one inseparable half of comic books, and that is the artwork. And in each and every episode, I focus on one artist that I find, myself personally, find the top in the industry. Now, so far, we have made a video about, I believe, it was Ethan Van Sciver, was Sam Keith, and Lee Bermejo. Now, today, I am going to focus, I dare say, on one of the best comic book artists of the 21st century. And that is, and not only on the 21st century, his career began in, I believe, the 1980s. But nevertheless, it is Greg Capullo, the man. I have been fascinated by this guy for quite some time. And even before he started his work with Scott Snyder on Batman, for which he is best known, I would say, in our day and age. Most people connect him with Batman because he has done such a great and such extensive work on the Batman title, the ongoing Batman title of the new 52 relaunch, and some limited miniseries, that he will forever remain one of the cult classics of the Batman title. And he is among the men who are engraved in the eternal stone of the Batman creators to such an extent that, yes, many an action figure above my head has been produced in the image of his art. But his work didn't start with Batman. It started in the 1980s with titles such as X-Force and X-Men, Quasar, and I would say that he first became really famous when he started working on Spawn with Todd McFarlane in the Image comics. So I have just pulled out a couple of single issues from my short boxes. He did and has been doing both the artwork as far as covers go and the interior artwork, an extensive amount of interior art. So this is one of the Spawn issues that Greg Capullo was involved in. This is the cover of it. I love his art. His artwork seems very cartoony to me, which I love. I am not a fan of a single style, nor can I say that I prefer more realistic drawings or more cartoony drawings. It just depends on the artist. I love diversity. I enjoy diversity as much as humanly possible. So, you know, my tastes as far as artists and visual medium range from pencilers such as Scotty Young, an artist whose artwork is very cartoony indeed, and there will be an episode devoted to him. And it ranges through people like Greg Capullo, Lee Bermejo, Sam Keith, Simon Bisley, and now we are only talking about comics, right? Jim Lee, and thousands and thousands of others, up until, let's say, people like Alex Ross, who is a painter. You can't really say that he is like a comic book penciler. No, that guy is a classical painter who, luckily for every comic book fan, has devoted his life to painting comic books. But there will be another episode devoted to him. But this episode is devoted to the man, to Greg Capullo, whose art, as I said, is more cartoony than not. But look at that. It's very lively. It's very action-packed and extremely detailed. These are only covers, but this applies to both covers and his interior artwork. You look at a single panel of his, a single page, and you can look at the single panel or the single page for minutes, for hours, and you will always find new things to see and new things to admire, new things to lay your eyes on, because each and every time you look at the picture, look at the drawing, you will find the smallest details added into the picture. Not all artists are capable of doing that. From the top of my head, another artist that really is capable of doing that is Simon Bisley or Jim Lee. You look at, and especially at the earlier work of Jim Lee's, when he drew X-Men, you looked at one picture and you saw like million little details, and this is Greg Capullo, ladies and gentlemen. And his covers, look at that. It's such a pity that I haven't got more space on my walls. My walls are full of artwork. My walls are full of action figures. My walls are full of posters and shit. So if I had more space, I would frame each and every single of these Spawn covers. Now this is my favorite probably. And this is the Halloween Spawn drawn by Greg Capullo. Look at that. Look at the amount of detail. If something screams Halloween, it has to be this. There was an action figure made by McFarlane Company that was inspired by this particular cover, but that came out in the early odds, and I have to get it. It'll be expensive on the second-hand market, but I just need to get this action figure and display it along with this cover, because this is, in my opinion, a cult classic right there. Now, of course, as I was saying, he was also working on titles such as Haunt. There was another Image title created by Todd McFarlane, Robert Kirkman, and Greg Capullo. I don't have any of that, unfortunately, but I'm going to get it and read it all. Then, of course, I mentioned X-Men and X-Force, Quasar, and so on and so forth. But then, of course, 2011 came, and Greg Capullo, for the first time, I think it was his first time, started working for DC Comics with Scott Snyder, and he was about to start working on Batman, and people were afraid, people were frightened, right? That, oh my god, this is the Spawn guy. Batman's cowl is going to be like miles long, and each and every character is going to look like the Violator, and it's going to look, you know, like very crazy gothic-y shit. To a certain extent, but no. It's very, in many ways, it's very different from his work on Spawn. Like, you can always see, this is, for instance, the cover of the first issue of Batman New 52 by Greg Capullo. This has become classic. This has become iconic. Like, fantastic. Look at that. This is the second issue. This is the third one. That's a good one. Look at that. Look at that shit. So the run ran for, I think, 52 issues, and he drew, I think, all of them, or all but one. And then he did some miniseries like Batman Last Night on Earth, Dark Knight's Metal, which came out just like 2 or 3 years ago, I believe. I love the covers. They were metal, they were metallic, all of the covers. It's a huge cosmic Batman-oriented DC Comics event crossover. Now there's going to be a sequel to it, Dark Knight's Heavy Metal, or Death Metal? Oh god, I can't remember now. But from the previews that I saw, oh my god, it's going to be right. It's going to be an action-packed, cosmic Scott Snyder / Greg Capullo ride, and I can't wait to get it. And in this case, I am both going to get the single issues and the the collected editions. And I don't get the floppies much anymore, but as far as Greg Capullo goes, need to get it, need to get them, especially if the covers are going to be metallic as well. Again, now I love the way he draws Batman. He in many interviews said, Greg Capullo, that a lot of artists draw Batman with his costume like skin tight, that you can see each and every muscle and each and every tone and each and every ligament on his body. Well, that of course is, I know it's comic books, it should be unrealistic, but like only pro bodybuilders that are just before contests and competitions look like that. And Greg Capullo said that he didn't really like it, so he wanted to draw Batman so everybody, every villain, every mugger that Batman would meet in the streets of Gotham would be afraid of him. So he wanted to draw him like, like this bulky Batman character that, he would just, you would look at him and you would say, oh, respect just pours out of this guy. And he managed. Greg Capullo has such an extensive and awesome knowledge of anatomy and human body and musculature, and you can't really be surprised by this. Firstly, from what I read, he studied a lot for this, like self-studied. Secondly, he drew like a lot, because if you want to be good at something, you have to do it every day. And thirdly, just look up his pictures on Google. This guy has guns. This guy is ripped. Like, Greg Capullo could be a superhero. He is really buffed. And he's such a nice guy from all the interviews that I saw with him. Unfortunately, I haven't met him yet, but I hope to meet him someday. The conclusion of all this is that his cartoony artwork has gripped my eyes, and I think I'm quite sure that Greg Capullo is going to be my favorite artist till the end of times. Or one of my favorite artists till the end of the world. And just one little remark at the end. What is very specific and stands out in each and every of his both interior artwork and his like comic book covers art is that he's got a specific way how to draw noses. I think that if you need to search for one thing that will help you recognize Greg Capullo's artwork instantly, look at the noses of the characters. This one, there's of course the characters of Sam and Twitch, is a bit more exaggerated just because the character is the way he's drawn. But from what I have noticed from the thousands and thousands of pages that I saw of Greg Capullo's art, is that he draws the characters' noses very similarly. Like, everybody's got almost the same looking nose. But I love it. It's a nice little thing, nice little detail about Greg Capullo's artwork, which I enjoy extraordinarily. Now, that would be all, really. Greg Capullo, the man. Love him, will forever love him, and can't wait for getting Haunt, for getting Reborn, which is a more recent work that he did with Mark Millar, and of course for the sequel to The Dark Knight's Metal, which I can't wait for. Now, what about you, my friends? What do you think about Greg Capullo's artwork? And what are some of your other favorite artists when we are talking about artists and focusing on artists? What do you think? And if Greg Capullo is your favorite artist, what is your favorite work drawn by Greg Capullo? Is it Spawn? Is it Batman? Is it Reborn? Is it Haunt? Is it X-Men? Is it X-Force? Is it Quasar? Tell me. And of course, do not forget to dislike this video if you don't like it, or like this video if you like it. And subscribe to this unimportant channel of an unimportant geek talking about unimportant things. And that would be all from me, my friends. See you soon, stay safe, and bye.